Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm doing another review of Your Physique, this time May 1949 with George Eiferman on the cover. And may I say, god damn, look at this physique. Absolutely phenomenal. Would you call this aesthetic? Absolutely. I mean, this is what I call a Herculean physique, god damn it. I mean, get me to the gym right now. Let's do some heavy squats, benches and deadlifts and get massive and strong like George Eiferman. I mean, this is absolutely marvelous. I love this cover. It is so iconic. Look at this phenomenal development. Natural, of course. Strong like a Hercules. This is what the golden era is about, ladies and gentlemen, at its absolute finest. Unbelievable. I love this this fantastic cover from this particular issue, Your Physique, May 1949. Let's see what's in store in this particular magazine. So I really actually enjoyed the editorial. On the sixth paragraph, it talks about, let's have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The sixth paragraph was rather interesting. It really actually shows you how things were back in these days. I mean, even in this regard, they talk about sex, and it's a long problem, sex is a long problem child of society, they say. And it is explained in this particular magazine intelligently and unoffensively. It is completely stripped of any sensationalism and thoroughly rationalized, with the hope that through knowledge, the many dangers associated with random sex behavior will be avoided. It's interesting to see how things were back then in that respect, that random sex, as in, I guess, sex for pleasure, was really frowned upon back in the time. Also, it's interesting to see how the thought that it was a man's world back then. I mean, have a read of this. Your Physique magazine is truly a man's magazine. So young men, one and all, let your physique become a part of your life, a habit which will immediately mark you as a person of the utmost discrimination and distinction, a virile and aggressive individual worthy of being called the youth of today. Yeah, you can really see how, I guess, that whole man's world was back then. Again, these are the times back then, of course. Very interesting to see this. You can really have a sense of how things were back in history. Anyway, moving on. Bill Barrett, another phenomenal physique from the period, shown here with his most muscular pose. I mean, this guy. Unfortunately, there's no talk or mention of his routines, but with only 6.5 wrists inch, he had 17-inch arms, and you can really see his Herculean proportions. I mean, he had phenomenal development. 47-inch chest. Again, I'll repeat, 17-inch arms, 32-inch waist, 25-inch thighs, and over 15 inches in the calf, at only a height of 5'7". I mean, that's almost Franco Colombo. He was 5'5", and only 170 pounds. So truly phenomenal proportions for such a short bloke. Really amazing. Bill Barrett. Let's continue looking at the magazine. There was more on chest development from David Willoughby, who I really have started enjoying his articles. Again, this whole thing about sexual restraint was such a big deal back then. Advice to the male. So there's actually a series of articles now. This is, I think, the third or the fourth one by Val Njord, Miss USA. One of the real beauties back then, and having some rather, I could say, risque photos showing her breasts and all that. Very risque for back in the day. A great photo here of Steve Reeves and Clarence Ross with Val Njord in the middle. Now, this is the article I was talking about with David Willoughby. So there were some very interesting exercises given here, specifically the cable exercises, and I hope you can see those here. I might blow that up, actually. Can you see these particular cable exercises? I actually own one of these cables. It's actually called a chest expander. It was popular to be used in home gyms back then. And it's kind of nice how they explain in here the different exercises that one actually can do, such as the front chest pull as shown here, the bent over version, and then the overhead pull, cable pull shown there, all adding to the finer muscles of the chest area. Also displayed is how to perform and to increase the strength required to do a one arm chin up, and you've got progressive levels shown here. As well as that are some other unusual exercises, such as this lying but having the arm over your head, and I guess doing a kind of raise behind your head. Very interesting for hitting the rear delt, really interesting. And also this particular exercise. But of course, what I found most impressive of all was this fantastic photo of Melvin Wells. I mean, look at the muscularity for a man in the late 40s. I mean, I've got to blow this up. And I'm actually going to do a separate video on Melvin Wells. Look, I just want you to appreciate for a moment the incredible muscularity shown by Melvin Wells. I can't believe this guy is such an unknown. I mean, look at that. Look at the biceps on this guy. He had 18.5-inch arms in 1949. That's unheard of. I've never heard of this before. This is incredible. I'm going to cover Melvin Wells. I mean, this guy, I need to introduce this guy to the world. I think Daniel Figueroa has actually done on his YouTube channel one video on Melvin, but the photos here are phenomenal, and I think they really deserve a separate video of their own. Amazing development back in 1949. Melvin Wells, a relatively unknown Superman of the time and era. So that's what I really found interesting about this article. Of course, there was more. The Mr. California title from January 21st, 1949, with Norman Marks winning first place, second going to Bob McCune, and third to Walt Baptiste. Of course, with all these IFBB contests, you had some really great names turning up and doing guest posing. And check out the lineup. I mean, you had Clarence Ross, you had Steve Reeves, Clarence Ross and Steve Reeves, as well as Alan Steffen. Fantastic! What a fantastic lineup! What a fantastic night it must have been to see these phenomenal bodybuilders display their musculature and iconic physiques. Again, the world must have been flabbergasted by the amazing Melvin Wells, because an article here presents him, and this is the article I will be showing you in a very soon to be produced video from the Golden Era Bookworm, taking a look at Melvin Wells. Look at these proportions. Look at those arms. I mean, god damn. Unbelievable. 18.5-inch arms. Look at that. Look at that peak. Look at the softball size of that arm. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Moving on. It's a great art magazine, this one. I really enjoyed the read. A History of American Weightlifting. And What's Your Problem? I never really read this, What's Your Problem, because it's just answering some of the readers' questions. Here's another fantastic physique to present to you, and character of the Golden Era, Frazier Ferguson. The story of Frazier Ferguson. I really like this article. He started weights actually early on in his life, but later he actually broke his leg, and you can actually see his scar in many of these actual shots taken here. He had a scar. He was supposed to be amputated, and he would be and was actually told he would never walk again. And that's what I love about this story. It's a true story of willpower. But through sheer willpower, this man became a physical instructor and a strongman. At 185 pounds, at the time he could do somersaults, one-handed handstands, that's really, really hard, bent press, 200 pounds with one arm for 8 reps. Incredible. 300 pound squats for 10 reps, 500 pound deadlifts, and he would do 10 reps with dumbbell, a 10 rep dumbbell press with 100 pounds dumbbells. And again, true willpower. I mean, look at that phenomenal chest development. I've got to blow that up. That is rib expansion again through all those squats and pullovers. I mean, that's just great. Phenomenal development. Very strong man. Strong in both body, mind, and spirit, which is what I believe truly what proper bodybuilding really does to a man. It really does develop the mind, body, and the spirit. And finally, there's a great article a great ad promoting a new IFBB contest. Attention, all bodybuilders, the greatest event of them all, and check out the lineup. It's the Mr. North America contest by the IFBB, announced by the IFBB to include Clarence Ross, Alan Steffen, Steve Reeves, Floyd Page, Norman Marks, Jack LaLanne, Abe Goldberg, Fred Mazzaro, Editorial, Leo Robert, Alan Pavio, and many others, with $1,000 cash prize to the winner. I mean, that was a hell of a prize back then, and what an incredible lineup. Every major 1940s champion is listed. Can you believe what a fantastic show this would have been? I wish somebody would have taped it on video so we can have that footage. What an amazing show it would have been. Anyway, that's the end of this particular magazine, with again George Eiferman doing a phenomenal front lat spread. What an iconic cover. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and leave me your comments. I'm always answering comments. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.